Well, we're back. Took a week off. I'm not sure if it was an intentional week off. Things got awful busy last week. So
way too busy for these types of things.
I mean, that's what podcasts are all about, just being open and transparent.
Right. Be honest about how busy and hard working
we had the best of intentions last week, but it just sometimes it just doesn't happen.
I know. They missed out on what would have been a great podcast. So I feel bad for the viewers, honestly. We tried to make it happen. It just didn't work.
It can't be redone. Listen, it is sunny and 80 degrees today. I don't know what it is while you're watching the podcast, but filming, we tried to go outside. If we're being totally transparent.
We wanted to be outside.
It's just gorgeous. We want to do everything outside.
Yeah.
But it wasn't conducive.
Right. We need like a podcast studio outside.
Or just a podcast studio.
Ooh. All right, dreams. Let's say that for a dream session.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But it feels like summer. It's not quite summer, but summer's coming.
Yeah. They call it spring. But I guess you could give an essay on it. The flowers are starting to bloom. It's not quite winter anymore, but it's not quite summer. What do we call it?
I don't like in Tennessee though. Yeah, like. I mean, is it spring?
It's officially
so
spring.
This week is spring.
Oh,
who knows?
It's spring.
It could be summer.
It's not getting cold again.
I don't know if you should have spoke that into existence.
It might rain on us, but it's not. Yeah. We're not going to. You're safe to replace all 1,000 of your bushes that died this year.
I've been doing that this week.
Yeah.
Yep. Replacing bushes.
I noticed how sore you were in the office today, so I can tell.
I'm moving a little slow.
Yeah.
Definitely moving a little slow.
But save some for the workday this weekend.
Well, I mean, we'll have some things to do here for the workday.
Is that this weekend?
I don't know that we're removing bushes.
No, I was just reminding our church the workday is this weekend. So
for everybody looking for something to do,
some way to serve, give of your gifts and talents.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
God gifted many people in many ways. One of them might be spreading mulch on that playground. I don't know.
Or running a pressure washer.
Boy, we got a lot of mulch. I'm excited.
There's a lot to do.
Kids are going to love that.
With summer coming, I mean, school is nearing an end.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, we spent a while dreaming.
How much longer I mean, we have kids.
Yeah.
How many more
Well,
weeks?
the email said there's
Not long
6
enough.
more Mondays because it was no more late starts, right?
6 more Mondays.
6 more Mondays.
That's it?
I feel like that snuck up on us.
Then summer definitely is upon us.
Yeah.
6 Mondays.
It is on the way.
Well, yeah, our kids are all basically testing this week. And
It is.
Our teachers are also putting in that kind of work. I think it's that season where all the hard work pays off, quote unquote. But yeah, testing can be a very stressful time. And does that bring back memories to you guys? I know it brings back memories to me.
Do you think that testing is more stressful on the student or the teacher?
Initially, I thought the student, and then I got to hearing some of our stories from our teachers, and it's like, oh yeah, they're the ones that like really care. Like you can get a student that's like, I did my best, but you got a teacher that's like, no, like I'm responsible for all these test scores. So I think probably the teacher, if you think about it long enough, because it's like they've been working all year.
You have students and teachers in your house.
I have a teacher and 2 students.
Tell us, who is the most stressed this week?
The teacher in my house is more excited and more stressed.
Okay,
so
there you
I'm
go.
gonna have to go with teacher. But it is stressful, and they at the school that they're at, maybe like a lot of your schools, they told them to charge the Chromebook, and they're doing it all online and all that fun stuff.
I got the alert last night.
Yeah. I think Josiah almost forgot, but he got his charge, which was good.
So do you get out of the test if your Chromebook isn't charged?
I think
feel
you
like I
failed the
would've been
test
looking-
if your
Oh,
Chromebook
okay,
is
well.
not charged. I don't.
No.
From the sound of things, it's not good.
Okay.
But yeah, we got teachers in a lot of different schools. Everybody's doing testing and stuff. I mean, that's a lot, and yeah, we love our teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
definitely praying for you, and we're here for you. It's tough.
One of the thoughts I had when you mentioned testing was back when I was in school, I remember these like final exams being very stressful, but then when you get to like college level, you end up having these like CLEP tests, optional tests that are out there. And I was wondering, did any of y'all ever try to take a CLEP test in college?
No, I did not CLEP anything. I didn't.
So this is the wrong crew to like.
I took class after class, buddy.
Yeah.
What was told to me was you have to be good enough to pass the CLEP test.
Right.
And I was like, no, not going to embarrass myself.
If you were willing, you could test out of an entire class, which to me...
that would mean that you knew the knowledge ahead of time, though, and didn't need the class.
And you guys were in school before the internet, so...
Well, that and we just really love learning. We don't want to skip out on all that valuable learning time.
I'm just kidding. Y'all had MySpace and stuff during college, right?
MySpace.
That might not have been out yet.
No, it was not.
I'm sorry.
We did have
an AOL Instant
Messenger where you could do the burning CDs. And all the...
I'm sure you were just doing like sermons, though. You weren't like taking music or anything.
It was all like
get me choked up.
Educational talks and Yeah, sure, for sure.
The lessons from the teacher that you missed was on 100%. Napster.
Is this like what do they call it? Like when it's been so long that you can't get arrested anymore? Is this
the statute of limitations on your Napster downloads?
We might want to check that.
I think that's what Dustin just admitted to today.
We might want to check that.
That's great.
In front of everybody.
Yeah. What's cool is I realized all of our entire staff went to Trevecca, which when you start to think about that, that's a really cool thing. But then you go one step further, and all of our entire staff and all of their spouses went to Trevecca. And it got me thinking about like last weekend with TNT, seeing so many of our church family come out and support and really get to visit campus and relive memories. I was going through yearbooks with one of the moms that her family had, generations. She was looking through these yearbooks of generations that went to Trevecca, and it got me thinking, we are so blessed to have a partnership as a church with a school. And not just like our church, but our denomination. That is their school in this area, and it has played a humongous part in our lives, and not only as a staff in our church, but I bet this church could tell story after story.
There's a lot of Trevecca grads in the church for sure. I'm gonna have to take a break and get water. I don't know what's happening to me.
Let me go get your water.
Yeah, pause.
All right, we're back. Pastor Jason has his water. We are good to go. So we're talking about Trevecca. We're talking about the way that our church is connected and what makes it special. What is it about Trevecca that allows it to be such a big part of our church life and our personal lives? Is there something unique about Trevecca, or is it just the way that it is set up that we have this special place that we get to kind of call home? And so it just happens to be that all of us have called it home at one time or another.
Well, I guess why don't we start with why Trevecca? Like, why did you pick Trevecca?
Well, I was going to go to Belmont, and Sarah talked me into Trevecca. So that's the funny story is, I started coming to the Church of the Nazarene in my senior year of high school, and met this beautiful girl named Sarah, and she was going to Trevecca and said, "You're going to Trevecca too, right?" And then I started thinking about it and looking at Trevecca and realizing that it seems to be a pretty awesome school. From there, I've gone back and got my master's there. I love the everything I've learned from Trevecca, so that's why I chose it.
Yeah, I'd say you probably influenced me the most. I was not a great high school student. We were talking about tests earlier. Tests really were the only thing that saved me, because I would rather take all the tests but not show up to class kind of a guy. That's why I was so interested in the CLEP test. It was like, what? You mean I can just take the one test and be done? That was my high school experience. I was like, I'll be here on final exams, and I wasn't in the classes as much as my teachers wanted me to be. But I didn't have a lot of options because that affected my GPA for some reason. And so I got to talking with Trevecca, and it really was the one place that I felt like interested to go, because they had religion and youth ministry studies, and those were the places after receiving a calling that none of the academics, none of the real academics, but none of those things
it is a real academic school.
Right. They were all, all the things that I had studied in high school, I had never really found like this is something I would want to do going forward, and I ended up as I received a calling, didn't know that there was this whole world of religious studies, and that I could essentially go to school and read my Bible at the same time. And I thought Trevecca would be a great place. Happened to be in town, happened to be Nazarene, and those things went well with it. But it really was that, and just the time I spent during TNT, the time I spent being exposed as a teenager to the campus and to the people there. I just thought they were the best people in the world. And it may have been because I wasn't introduced to many other things, but they were that was the college that cared enough about me to put themselves in my life. So I thought that's the place where I'm going to go. And Trevecca does a great job of helping out and being a part of our students' lives.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up like around the school. I grew up in the church, and even grew up in Florida. Trevecca was still like tied to Florida and whatnot, and I think it was always expected that I was going to go to Trevecca. So part of me was like, I'm not going to go just because I was expected to go.
Right.
But the other part of me was like, no, I want to at least kind of do my due diligence and see like what other options are out there and see if that's where God wants me to go. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm thrilled that I chose Trevecca because the relationships that I made, there, of course, I think the education is great, and it definitely does, give that opportunity for, your religion as well as your educational to kind of come together in that same, vein. But I think for me, it's the relationships that I didn't even know then would carry over till now. And, I think that's probably the best part of, what school looked like was that God was setting me up for something down the road I didn't even know about, and Trevecca was a big piece of that. And our church, I mean, because Trevecca is a Nazarene school, but some of our funding, that we receive, like when we give tithes and offerings, like a portion of what we give goes to support that, that school in particular. So, there's something important to that we believe in that, education, that Nazarene education as well. So it's good.
I think that's why it's easy as a youth pastor to try to hand some of those students into the admissions office and introduce them to the admissions counselors and really let them know there's a place that wants them there, that it would really be excited. I know they have a lot of options. There's a lot of schools and a lot of different programs, but knowing that you grow up in a place that cares about you as a person and not just a statistic or another customer, right. You really are joining the Trevecca family and really just continuing in this denominational family
you said,
as you go that way.
That you could go there and go to class and read your Bible. I think you can do that at other places too.
You could, but like that was the coursework.
Yeah.
So the coursework was to open your Bible and study
I see,
it.
I see. That makes more sense now.
Yeah. Like that's one of the benefits of ministry is there's nothing that I have to focus on more than achieving God's will. And like that is, in my opinion, the big draw in full-time ministry is you get to focus on it all the time, whereas sometimes, when you work other jobs, which I've worked plenty of other jobs, but you have somebody else is telling you to do something that's completely unrelated to building God's kingdom. Whereas if you tell me to do something, I know, I'm like doing that task is building God's kingdom.
Yeah. There was a joke for a little while though. When we started at Trevecca, the religion majors all had to buy a red hardback Oxford annotated Bible. And they kind of started calling that the Trevecca Bible. Like we have to buy a certain Bible for Trevecca. It was where a lot of the religion professors wanted you to use. So other Bibles are welcome. You don't just use just one kind. But that was kind of the joke we had was, I've got my Trevecca Bible.
Oh, that's great. So what was it about Trevecca that made it to where all of the entire staff decided to meet and get married to their spouse?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, again, somebody. So I believe that, especially in full-time ministry, that your spouse is such an important role in what we do, what we're able to do, and I think that there is a specific calling to be the spouse of a minister, and it doesn't mean that the spouse is the minister. I think that there's different gifts for what that looks like, and that can be. But I think to be that support and to be that that champion for those that are in ministry, I think that that's like significant. So maybe going to that school and allowed us to kind of explore that together with our spouses. And
well, Sarah still tells she'll tell you a story if you ask her that at Trevecca during those days, she didn't answer a call to be a pastor herself, but she did say, if you're called to ministry, then I'm called to be a support and to be there for you. So you're right. I mean, it's a special time.
Yeah, I don't think I could do this job if my wife wasn't also wanting to go that direction.
For sure.
The amount of not work, but the amount of
responsibility and time.
I have to lean on her.
Right.
I need her there. Maybe there in the ministry, but even there when I get home, to know what I'm going through and to know, and then just to be that support.
Well, I think God led us to the spouses that we're that match for us to be able to kind of complete the calling that He had on our lives, complete the calling that He had put on their lives as well. Yeah. So we talked a lot about like warm weather. Summer's coming. To be here before we know it, 6 Mondays apparently of school left. That's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. With the weather warming up and us being able to get outside, I've got this question for us today. Favorite outdoor activity? Summer's coming. Like what is your favorite thing to do outside?
Whoa. You just open the whole world of possibilities there, Pastor Jason.
There's a lot.
Yep.
I mean, it could be pastimes. it could be whatever. What do you enjoy outside?
Yeah. Oh man, you got some big hitters in that. Like you got beach. You got
where's the beach around here? You got a beach around here?
No, I mean
there's no beach in Tennessee.
Yeah, no. See, you got me dreaming about if I could. Yeah, if I could pick what I was doing. Yeah, but around here, summertime. All right, I guess I would go more towards getting out with my kids and going down to the creek or just something where they're getting to run around and I get to. It would involve the family being outside. I mean, it doesn't really matter where we are as long as it's sunshiny and I've got my family with me.
Okay.
The summer, my wife's a teacher, so she's off during the summer, and we get to go outside and sit. We can spend more time during the day. We can, of course, my kids are saying, can we go hit softballs and kick soccer balls and all that stuff, and we do that all the time. That's not my favorite, but just spending more time with family outside, kind of general.
You both talk about family. You're going to make my answer sound really bad.
Is it selfish? Are you going fishing?
Maybe you should have gone first.
Okay, I mean, when it's warm outside,
go golf.
Golf. I mean, I'd love to get outside and golf.
Well, that's because I'm awful at golf.
The problem is you're thinking of golf removed from golf. But put yourself on hole 15, and you're down 6 or 7 balls, and you're 12 over par.
Never down 6 or 7 balls.
I'm describing
Dustin.
Me. I lost the whole case.
But besides golf, ironically, one of my favorite things to do outside is work in the yard.
Oh,
I do. I love to work in the yard. I love to take care of the grass and all that stuff. I've even been jumping on the mower at the church lately, and so there's something about mindlessly just cutting a straight line. You can just kind of put everything else away.
I tried to train my son to do that recently. Last summer, actually, and it wasn't a straight line.
No,
that's why I took the mower back.
I understand.
I took the mower back. Yeah. He might have done that on purpose, though.
Golfing or yard work, man.
Man, that's such a dad response.
I am a dad.
Man, am I headed towards golf and yard work?
I think so. I mean, at some point.
He's like, no, you're still in the phase where you enjoy your kids.
No, you're taking off vacation.
He's going to the beach.
He's going to the beach.
I mean, if
boat.
you're giving me the choice, I'm laying in the sand, and I'm just like got a podcast or some music in my ear, just soaking in the sun rays.
John's on the beach listening to the Concord podcast.
That's right.
There you go.
I'll be listening to that.
Or his sandbox in the backyard. You got a
When
sandbox?
we went on our vacation this year, I definitely just watched the sermon and the service from the beach on my phone.
Oh,
So
I have done that. That is
Very nice.
that's why we have to, we should really call it a beach cast or so. Concord.
We're going to take this remote. We got to take the podcast remotely.
We should do we need to do a beach.
I think we probably have to start at a stream or something first, but make it happen. Well, summer's coming. It'll be here before we know it. There's a lot of big things happening.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can talk about next couple of weeks about what it's going to look like around here in the summertime. But until then, I mean, get out. Take your family somewhere. I'll go.
I don't know how sunny.
Myself.
It may not be sunny this weekend, but we might be able to get outside and do some work at the work day.
We can do some yard work.
Maybe we'll see you at the work day on Saturday.
Yeah,
that's it. Sounds good.
All right. We love you.
Nothing you can do about it.
See ya.